Welcome to the Overgivers Anonymous podcast. My name is Angela Mondor, also known as the Geeky Girl. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about some amazing things to help you get over overgiving. Hi, and welcome to this episode of the Overgivers Anonymous podcast. Whether you're visiting us on YouTube right now or whether you happen to be listening to us on your podcast delivery system of your choice, welcome. Hi, how are you? My name is Angela Mondor. I'm also known as the Geeky Girl, which is kind of fun because, we do little geeky things around here. So if you like that kind of thing, stick around. Today, I want to talk to you about something cool. I think it's cool. And don't get scared because sometimes when I talk about things and people get scared, it happens more often than you might think. But I want to talk to you about goal setting, but chill out, hold on. Not normal way, not the neurotypical way of thinking of goal setting. We're going to break this down so that our neurodiverse brains are going to be happy when we're done talking about it rather than stressed and irritated and unhappy. All right, stick with me, I promise. So I'm also going to give you a resource after this. So it's not, you just don't have to listen to this or watch me and try to figure it on your own. We're going to give you a resource that you're going to be able to use after. You'll be able to find it in the show notes later. But let's break it down because it's really important. This is very, very interesting that I use those words because it is very indicative of what's to come. When we think about goal setting, a lot of times we can be overwhelmed because we've tried to set goals before in the past. We've tried to do what people told us to do. Just set a goal, set an intention. You can do it. I mean, come on. We've all been there and we've all failed miserably. And a lot of times I hear people say that they're procrastinating with their goals or they're not doing the things that they need to do to accomplishment. They talk about how awful they are, how much they suck. They bring out all of these negative things around why they're not accomplishing these goals. I can guarantee you it's not because you suck. It's not because you're procrastinating. It's not because you're not good enough. It's because you're overwhelmed, for Christ's sakes. That's what it is. You're overwhelmed. Think about this, for example. If you were on a boat, you're having a lovely day, and you decide that you're going to just lean over the side and look at the fish, but the boat's going really, really fast. And as you're leaning over, you fall into the water and you can't swim. I don't know why you're on a boat without a life jacket and you can't swim, but nonetheless, you're there, you are. You've fallen off the boat and the boat's moving fast, and it's a big enough boat that maybe somebody didn't notice right away that you were gone. Now you can't swim and you start to panic. Well, how are you going to figure things out right now? You can't because you're panicking. You're overwhelmed by everything that's happening now. You're overwhelmed that you're going to die. You're overwhelmed you're going to drown. You're overwhelmed that nobody will find you. You're overwhelmed by all the things. Can you think straight at that point? No, you can't. The only way you'd be able to think straight in that situation is if you were able to not be overwhelmed in that situation. If you had some kind of training, if you could swim, if you could tread water, if you were wearing a life vest, if you knew that people noticed you had fallen off and they were coming back to get you, then you wouldn't be overwhelmed. So this is the thing. Obviously, you're not being tossed into water without being able to swim and nobody's coming to get you, but it can feel that way. It can feel as real as that when you are overwhelmed because all you can do is sit there and you become stuck in this place of fatigue, decision fatigue. You're overwhelmed by all the things in the world and you just don't know what to do next. And I'll tell you that even with a good plan, that happens still. But it's really important to understand what it is. Rather than shit all over yourself, it's important for you to step back and go, okay, so I'm overwhelmed right now. What is it that I need to focus on right now? What's the first thing I need to do? And that question can be the game changer to make your day better than it was or to leave you stranded alone wondering what's next. Okay, so let's talk about this strategy so that you can use these things as you move forward. Because when we think of huge goals, it becomes down to how do we even tackle it? So, for example, I like talking about the concept of going to Everest a lot because it is something that most of us will never do. It's something that most of us will never even attempt. And most of us will never, ever want to do it simply because of how unattainable that particular goal is. But it is a goal like any other, okay? When somebody wants to go on a trek to go reach the top of Everest, there's a lot that goes into it. First of all, nobody ever does it alone. That's really important. Nobody ever does that trip alone. Second of all, they train for months, years. There's a whole lot of training that goes involved in that. Not just physical training. I mean, yes, you have to physically train your body to be able to do the things that you require to get to a top of a mountain, but there's also emotional training. There's also mental training that goes into it. And on top of that, you also have to learn survival. There's a whole bunch of things that need to come together in order for you to make the trip up the mountain. And most people fail. Most people literally die on the way. I'm not even kidding. My daughter was saying the other day that there's literally bodies littered around Mount Everest and nobody brings them down. I don't understand that logic. I don't get it, because I would, if even if Mount Everest was something I would do, the minute I found a dead body, I'd be like, I've got to bring you home. I'd bring you down the mountain. I'd never make it. But so here's the idea. You have this massive idea, and it could be as massive to you as saying, I want to reach $10,000 in my business year. Maybe it's $100,000 in your business. Maybe it's $1 million. It doesn't matter how monumental your particular thing is, because it's yours, it's your own brain, it's what you think is unattainable right now. That goal can lead you to disarray if you aren't able to figure out how to make the first step. I mean, at the end of the day, climbing a mountain is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. You put one foot in front of the other and you just keep climbing higher and higher. It's simply taking steps. But we know, like I said before, there's a whole bunch of prep work that gets into it. And there's a whole bunch of mental work that happens along the way, too. And of course, all of the effort that is required just to freaking stay alive as you're going up the mountain. So it's a different kind of thing. But what's important to know is that you've broken the steps down so that you know which to take next. Next, you put one foot in front of the other, right? Same for your business or for your personal life. When you're putting goals together, it's important to understand what's next. Because if I sit down and go, oh, next year I'm going to make $500,000. But what's my step? What do I do next? I can write it down. I can say I'm going to do that much money in business next year, but how am I going to get there? What's going to happen? So the same thing here, I want you to peel back. So I think about it in terms of having boulders that we break down into rocks, that we break down into stones, that we break down into pebbles, that we break down into sand. Okay? That's what I want you to think about. When you've taken this great big huge boulder and you've broken it down into sand, you only need to focus on the little tiny grains of sand. You pick up a grain of sand, you go, I know what to do with that. Oh, that's awesome. And I put it over there. Oh, look, I have another grain of sand. I'm going to pick this one up and look, oh, I know, I'm going to put that one over there because I know exactly what to do with it. That's how we're going to get this down and be very, very practical about how we do this. We reverse engineer, because most people go the other way around. Okay, so we're going to go this way. I have found this to be the most successful, not only for my personal neurodiverse brain, but other people that I've worked with in the past and currently as well, who also have neurodiverse brains, whether you have ADHD or autism or OCPD or any of the other acronyms you can possibly come up with. If you are struggling to try to fit into this neurotypical world and this bullshit that they're trying to give you, I got your six. Okay. So when we're looking at these goals, number one's most important is you want to make sure that the goal you choose is actually yours. It's not somebody else's. Somebody else didn't should all over you about what you should be doing inside your business. So make sure that that goal aligns with who you are, what you want in your business, not what you think you should have in your business, and also aligns with what you're trying to do for your clients as well. So this is your vision, your goals inside your business. And I really encourage you, if you're not already part of the Rockstar Success Circle, it's something that'll help you to be able to define these things and keep you on track throughout the year. You'll be way more successful being able to check in on these goals regularly. We actually have the Rockstar program set up completely so it'll support you all the way through the entire year. We have meetings all the time so we can keep you on track with what you're doing. Nonetheless, you want to make sure that these goals are actually going to impact the meaningful parts of your business as well. So you want to make sure that you are working towards the success of your business that you want to happen, okay? So you take these pieces and you break them down. So for example, we're just going to take a random goal that lots of people like to do, and let's call it build our email list. Lots of people want to build an email list. And sure, fine. Let's say I want to build my email list and I want it to be 10,000 people. Great. Now what? So now what? It's always the question, right? What's next? we need to take that goal and break it down. So if this is a 1-year goal, let's say you're moving from 1,000 to 10,000 subscribers and you want to do it within 12 months, it looks like what? Okay, we're actually going to break this down a little bit and we're going to make it more math friendly. So let's say we have 1,000 subscribers and we want to have 13,000. That gives us 12,000, 12 months, 1,000 a month, right? Just easy math. So let's say we want 1,000 a month, right? So now we've already broken this great big 12,000 down over into 1,000, right? So over the course of 3 months, we actually want 3,000. Okay, so somewhere in between. So we got 12,000, 3,000, 1,000. And then every single week, right? So we break 1,000 down into 4, which I'm not going to do the math for. I really want to, but I'm not going to. Somewhere between 2 and 300, right? I mean, I'm not going to do the math. You do the math. Anyway, so we break that down into smaller pieces, and then we can break it down even if you want to go further into like a daily, you can break it down even more. But here's what's important. Breaking down the goal is important so that we know whether or not we're measuring, right? So all our goals need to be able to be measured so we know whether we're making it there. This one's an easy one because it's very number driven. There's other ones that are a little bit harder to figure out in terms of how do I measure it, but this one's easy measure. The other side to this now is how am I going to get there? What actions do I need to take in order to get to this goal? And the actions you choose may or may not work. Okay, but because you can measure to see if they are working, it'll allow you to be able to see whether or not you're on the right track. So let's say 12,000 this year and 3,000 in this quarter and 1,000 this month. So in the month of whatever you happen to be in now, you're like, I am going to create a freebie product and put it out there. And I am going to create this freebie product. I'm going to put it on these platforms. Notice how I'm breaking this down into how it's going to happen. I'm going to put it out X amount of times on this platform, X amount of this times on this platform, X times on this platform. I'm going to make TikTok videos. I'm going to make 20 of them, whatever. So now all of these things are actionable. So first of all, I need to make a freebie. So then now I need to break that down further. Yes, I need a freebie. Okay. I need to figure out what my title is going to be. I need to figure out what my content's going to be. I need to know what kind of freebie is this going to be? Is it going to be a worksheet? Is it going to be for video? What is this freebie going to be about? Who is it helping? All those kinds of things. Each item on this list needs to be broken down. So you can see how 12,000 subscribers could be a simple concept, but now we've broken it down. So let's say we break it down. And for this month, our main goal is to create the freebie, to put it out there. And here's the timelines that we're going to do. It's going to take us, maybe it's going to take us 3 days to create the freebie, and it's going to take us maybe it's going to take us another 3 days to create the content. So that's now almost 2 weeks worth of time that we've now not been able to put it out there yet. So we only have 2 weeks left in this month to actually put it out there. Okay. Remember, you're trying to get 1,000, but you've lost 2 weeks in creating content. So maybe we need to change the goal for this particular month. Maybe drop it down to 500. I don't know. Put it out there and see what happens. Then at the end of your month, you can look at it and say, okay, did it work or didn't it work? And they're like, oh, I actually got 10 subscribers. Okay, so people are interested in it. Maybe I just need to keep running it for a little while. So the next month, you're like, I'm going to all in. It's already created. I'm not going to lose 2 weeks in the creation. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to run it again. Oh, look, cool. I got 250 people. That's cool. Not my 500 that I wanted, not my 1,000 I wanted. But now we can start saying, where did they come from? Which actions did I take? Was it putting it on this platform, that platform? Was it creating this? Was it putting it out there? How did I get those people? And then I can look and say, okay, so now that I know how these people are coming in, now I need to double down over here. So then the next month, you're still working on the same thing, but you're tweaking it as you go along, right? So now you're like, I got nobody from this platform, nobody from this platform. They all came from this platform. Okay, all in. I'm going to put it all out on this platform, but I'm going to do these, and these things differently. So let's see what happens. And maybe the next month, maybe that's the month you get 600, or maybe you hit your $1,000 or 1,000 subscribers. But you see how that goes? We know what action steps we can take by breaking it down. We know where we want to go. We can see where we're heading, and now we need to break it down. Now it's taken you 3 months to get to this point, and you didn't get all the subscribers that you want, and that's okay, because next quarter you can say, instead of getting 3,000, I need to actually get 4,000 or 4,500. So what you want to do at that point is you just change those markers moving forward, okay? I'm getting into the weeds. I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, you want to break something down so that when it shows up on your calendar, you're like, today's the day that I'm going to pick a topic for my freebie. You know what to do. You're picking a topic for your freebie. It isn't create the whole freebie. because that's too much. But pick a title or pick a topic or choose your audience, those kinds of things. They're single actions that are easy to take because you know how to get those things done. If ever you're looking at your to-do list and you think, what's the first step in that? Or how do I take my first step? You haven't broken it down far enough yet. You got to take that and break it down even further. There's a really cool thing called goblintools.ai, and it actually helps you to break things down. So you can actually say, please break down this task into multiple tasks. And maybe it does some of them all right, but then you need this one piece to go a little further. You can actually ask it to take that next piece a little further. Fantastic little tool. Great for breaking things down. And for even for if you're not used to breaking tasks down, it's neat to see an AI do it for you so that you can see how you can do it for yourself in the future. But it is always important that you're creating actionable plans that'll take you towards the goal. Because if you're only focused on the goal, then every day you wake up going, how am I going to get to 12,000? How am I going to get to 12,000? I don't know how you get to 12,000. That's a huge thing to do, right? Anything that you choose to do to get to that 12,000 has to be broken down, like the freebie. You had to create the freebie. Okay, now I have to create the freebie. What do I need to do to create the freebie? How am I going to present it? How am I going to offer it? All the things that are to do with how I'm going to put this freebie out there. Break it down into actionable steps so that when it shows up in your calendar, you go, oh, I know exactly how to do that. Fantastic. And you can take a move and you can actually hit your goals. You can actually be successful because you're no longer worried about this great big huge pie in the sky thing. You're only worried about today and what you have going on right now. I hope this is helpful. Like I said, there will be a link down below. You can actually get our freebie to help you break down your goals, to create actionable steps that'll help you to be able to actually achieve your goals. I hope you have a fantastic day. I look forward to talk to you next time. Bye now. Thank you so much for listening to the Overgivers Anonymous podcast. Your support means the world to me. You can find show notes for this episode and other goodies at overgiversanonymous.ca. And if you enjoyed this episode or you enjoyed the podcast in general, why not join us in the Overgivers Anonymous Facebook group, where you can connect with overgivers from all over the world. Head on over to geekygirl.ca/group.